there was a survey that was done. I'm going to cover it here in a bit. Blaze covers it as well, and that's actually where I'm going to be reading it from. And what it does is show that there is a disconnect, and there's a lot of economic illiteracy out there. But unfortunately, and a lot of these people get in positions of power. But it's more I guess the frustrating thing for me is how this part isn't even, or what we're about to express, isn't even part of the conversation. It's like people don't even discuss this aspect. And it's this right here. Here's the topic that we're going to discuss right here, though. Nearly 2/3 of millennials earning over $100K a year report living paycheck to paycheck. So what is this about? New survey conducted by Payments and Lending Club, which analyzed the financial data of roughly 30,000 Americans. So take that for whatever way that you made. It doesn't mean like all of them. It just means like of the people that they kind of had a part of the survey. Found that nearly 60% of millennials making more than $100,000 a year still said they were living paycheck to paycheck. This is what Business Insider says. The surprising figure was not that far from 70% of millennials in total who reported living paycheck to paycheck. Millennials are individuals born within 1981 and 1996. In the survey, those living paycheck to paycheck were defined as consumers who manage to pay their monthly bills but have little left over. Now, $100,000 is a lot of fucking money. By the way, now I know there's going to be the people who say, well, what if this, what if that, what if this? And that's the point right here that I wanted to make in that. And that's the part that we don't ever discuss from an economic standpoint when we talk about the economic situation. This is why I've always, homelessness, for example, we discuss. And I say this as a person with family members that have been homeless. And I've never liked how we've talked about homelessness in a box. And the immediate thing that people go to is like, okay, landlord's bad. They never want to talk about the individual responsibility there. And they don't want to discuss how some people fuck themselves, right? And through no actions of no other actions other than their own, are they in a situation that they've been in, whether they gambled their money away, where you have a situation like what happened with, even one of my actual father, who obviously isn't me and him aren't close like that. But there was a situation where he was in the picture and then he wasn't. But that was by his own doing, right? From a financial standpoint. And to act as if that is never the case is what frustrates me so much when we talk about welfare statism, when we talk about homelessness, when we talk about that, they don't ever discuss the spending habits. A great man once told me that really the main difference between people that are generally poor and people who are generally well off isn't necessarily how much money they make, it's how they spend it. And that's so true. Now, yeah, of course, there's objective poverty. That's not what it is that I'm saying. I'm not saying that isn't the case. What I'm saying is you cannot remove people's bad spending habits from the equation when discussing the overall economic landscape. It's being disingenuous. It's being dishonest if you do that. A lot of people spend their money fucking terribly. They feel like they have to have access to this, and that. It's like, for example, I've heard folks say, and this is a person who, because of that situation when my father grew up in a situation that I wasn't necessarily in a great economic situation growing up. My mother worked 2 jobs to just put fucking food on the table. But looking at that and looking at that situation, you have to consider that maybe people's economic situation is their own fucking doing. Objectively bad spending habits. And the point that I wanted to make was, you've heard folks say, well, it costs a lot to eat healthy. No, it doesn't. That's a fucking lie. That's a fucking lie. I'm tired of people saying that. That's a lie. It's more cheaper to go to make. No, it isn't. No, it is not. That's not true. You get a large meal from McDonald's. You gonna spend what, $8 and some change maybe? You know what the fuck you could do with $8 at a grocery store? And this whole food desert bullshit, that's not a thing really in America. But you know how much money or what you could get with $8? Do you understand that? You could get some rice. You can get some fucking chicken breast. I could make multiple meals out of $8. I'd have to cook it. I could make multiple meals, and me saying like a large meal is $8 is actually probably giving you too much credit. It's probably going to be more than that. But you get what it is that I'm saying. The reason why, and I think this is where like the conversation of classlessness is a more conducive conversation, because you see it happen virtually everywhere. You even see it happen among rich people. For example, look at like in sports. When is it ever the players' fault? Almost never. It's always the owners. Owners trying to keep them down. It is almost never the players' fault. These motherfuckers make hundreds of millions of dollars. It's almost never the players' fault. You got LeBron James, who basically owns the league himself, talking about it's just slave mentality. Like, what the fuck? It's a more like the idea that there are people that are above them. And then you got a lot of people trying to actually live outside of the money they make in. Like what great comedian that once said, he said, you got people that are spending money that they thought they were going to get. Right? Trying to live lifestyles that ain't your economic situation ain't suited for that, bro. You can't be doing that shit. But $100,000, and I know there are more or less expensive places in the world. In the country, right? $100,000 out where I'm at versus $100,000 in New York City are going to be two completely different things. But the idea that in vast majority of the America, that you will be making $100,000 and you will be living paycheck to paycheck, you fucked up somewhere down the line. Maybe you had some kids ill-advised that you having to pay for. Maybe you got all kinds of shit that you're subscribed to in some way that because you're trying to live up to a lifestyle that you shouldn't be. You purchased all these cars, loans and stuff like that you took out. Nobody making $100,000 should be, in theory, living paycheck to paycheck. Something had to go wrong. But that's the part of the conversation that these folks don't want to have. And that is of the individual responsibility. So they would love for the state to take care of it. A lot of these people are. A lot of these millennials are. Hell, a lot of this socialistic charge is being led by millennials, people in my age group. Generation, if you will. It's like, okay, well, we want the state to take care of this. We want the government to take care of that because of your poor fucking spending habits. I want them to take care of my child care. I want them to take care of everything fucking there. When you got folks who are being very irresponsible with their fucking money, but that is never in the equation when we talk about the economic landscape, be it in poverty, be it in homelessness, it's never part of the equation. It's always that there's some usually a white man, they'll say, but it's always somebody that is keeping them down. It is never their own bad decisions. And that's what's so frustrating about this conversation. You may have bad spending habits. You may be a fucking idiot. And that is actually maybe the problem. But to just move it from the fucking equation to act like that just can't be it. That's what this is telling. Nobody, as far as I'm concerned, should be living paycheck to paycheck. Maybe you are, but you're fucked up along the way if you're making $100,000 a year. You fucked up somewhere. You fucked up somewhere. You did. But to act like it's everybody else's fault or rather there's something wrong. Yeah, we can talk all day long about the Federal Reserve fucking y'all over in combination with the Treasury, inflation. We can discuss all of that. But that would have that, you'd have to have the conversation of actually removing the government from the problem, which for whatever reason, y'all don't want to do that. Y'all don't want to do that. No, of course not. No. That'll require you to get the fucking government. And in doing so, you'd have to be more responsible. Right now, you're actually allowed to be more irresponsible because of the welfare state being able to take care of all of these different things. But a lot of the problems are amplified because of the government, certainly when it comes to money. But some things are your own damn fault. Let's have an honest discussion. You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.